My 108-year-old house is one concrete pour away from building its new addition. Today, we are going to get rid of the swampy area where the pad is located. We're gonna get the pad leveled off, and we are going to get the insulation put down. Oh yeah, and one little thing, I am not going to be here. My old college roommate is getting married in Washington State, so I am going to be heading out there, so while I am gone, Roman is going to be in charge. Hey everybody, you're watching Cole the Corn Star.
Good morning, long time no see. As Cole is on his trip to Washington, we are continuing to work here, and finally we are out of the rainy weather. Our all water is gone and it will be now drying out at this point. It's actually feeling pretty solid, so we're starting our work to put the plumbing in, which will already have trenches dug in. The next step is cut the hole through our wall, and we have everything set up for that too. We're just gonna put our big machine cutter, core drill, and start cutting through 12 inches of concrete. So we need that hole for this puppy because the bolt is gonna be holding this platform, and this platform is holding the whole thing. And then we have this big core bit that's gonna cut the concrete of this diameter. It has diamond teeth on it, and it slowly just grinds everything through. This is a Chinese piece, so I'm hoping it's gonna do the job. But this whole thing was $280, and our option was to rent one for $250. So to me it was like a no-brainer to buy a piece and have it for future projects. So we're just gonna mount it on the wall and see how it works.
Pays for itself, right?
Got it on Temu. So you see it barely touches the flange, so we'll need a big washer to make it work. And actually hope that there is enough bite in that hole that this whole thing is not gonna collapse on us. But that's the setup. And once again, this thing being from Temu, I hope it actually gonna last through our 7/8 rebar and all that, but it should last through 12 inches of concrete at least. So in the manual that's worthless, Justin found the speed selector, but I doubted that there is one, and there's nothing to be found like that. So the problem we're having, it's like having a hole saw for the carpentry. If there is no central bit, it's really hard to start that hole. And the same thing here, but at a lot bigger diameter, and it's a lot harder to deal with. We're gonna cut a hole in it. We're gonna then mount this piece to the wall, and this is gonna be our centering pattern. I think this should work. Otherwise, we don't really have many options anyway. To be honest, before we start using this thing, I thought it will take 10 minutes because that's what it would have taken using proper brand like Hilti, and that's what I used before. Super easy, but here it's definitely a learning curve. So if you think you can buy a tool from Temu and get the job done quick and right, think twice.
Did you buy this trailer from Temu?
I did not.
Well, it actually went as smooth as I would expect it to go. We had a little hiccup to start, but there is no way really to start without the guide like that, because it just how it is. And the rest was perfect. Was going smooth, felt just like you're going in the butter, and yeah, impressive. And luckily we didn't hit any of our vertical rebar that's 7/8 of an inch thick. Just our horizontals that's ½ inch, and I could feel it as I was going through and all the metal shavings that we could see, but cut through. What do you think? You need any holes cut in your basement?
I'm good.
So if you're ever looking for a hole to cut in your basement, I can do this hole for you for $1,000.
Oh, what a deal.
Okay, do we have a boy or a girl? There we go.
Looks like a boy.
All that I'm hoping that we're actually in the right spot. Measured twice, cut once, and I think I measured only one time. We ended up chipping out a corner of our hole because of the radius of the elbow. It would just catch it. Now we have everything fit perfectly. We're happy with the position of the hole, but the only thing that we're missing here is the sanitary tee. If this ever has a clog or anything, we need to have a means of coming in with the auger and clean out the sewer, and that's the piece that I'm talking about here. So what I'm thinking to do is actually cut one of these guys out, steal it from there, and put it into our position here so we can just keep going and finish this spot, because stuff here is not really needed for now, so we can always buy a new one and replace it. So we can cut any of those out for now, and that's our workaround to keep going on this project. So don't blame me, it's Justin that's gonna cut it out. So Cole, if you don't like this idea, it's Justin's idea.
It's not my idea.
How do you like them apples? The bottom part of our project is finally done. Now we have a nice starting point where everything is secured to keep going further. So this is what we're dealing with right now. We're gonna put a Y here, 4-inch pipe going down this way. It's gonna then switch to 2-inch and go into this box. And the same thing here. We're gonna put 2-inch reducer and run it into this box. That's where the sink is gonna be. What do you call that, Justin?
That's the colinator. Coal.
Oh, so coal is the...
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the main word there.
I just wanted to make sure. With everything glued in, and we didn't have 2-inch pipe, so once we get that, we'll finish it down to where we need it to run. So we'll start with backfilling now, and we thought we were gonna use our wheelbarrow, and that's how much water it collected in just, I believe, 2 or 3 rains. And here it is, all cleaned up and ready for the next step, which would be putting in these 2-inch pipes that we don't have and we need to buy. Then there will be also water lines that are gonna come through and feed that island, as well as the passage for 6 of PEX pipes that's gonna feed and heat this entire area and coil up all the way around. So we'll have to have a hole there too, and we're gonna do that next after we come back from the store and get our supplies. A really quick trip to Menards. We need a plug. Here's the plug. Got some pipe.
12 hours later.
We're back at the farm with our supplies. Now we have pipe to finish the plumbing. Now we have a styrofoam for our insulation and edging for our concrete slab. And today is gonna be kind of a weird day because we cannot just keep going at one project. We'll finish the plumbing. we'll cut the foam down so we have the strips ready to go. But the main goal is actually leave this exposed so it dries off as long as possible before we backfill it again and install the foam, because we cannot really install the foam until this is all level and packed. So we'll do a lot of preparation stuff for the next projects down the road in a few days until our gravel pad is dry, and we'll be just picking up the stuff that still needs to be done but down the road. So today we're not gonna feel much progress because it's gonna be a lot of prep work for next projects.
And one of them is Justin cutting these foam pieces because we're gonna use them.
Remember when I said it's gonna be kind of chaotic day? Well, that's what it is, but it's actually a good feeling because
We're finally figuring the game plan, finalizing everything.
so we can put the boards upwards finally and get some framing done. Earlier, before, we went ahead and checked all the squareness, checked all the measurements if they are corresponding to the final plans. So we are making the final adjustments and agreeing on everything that we have made physically in order to correspond them with the plans. So, and everything is falling within 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch, everything is square and nice. So this is a good day. This, even if we don't get anything done, knowing all this is feeling like an accomplishment, because we were working up to this point for a long time now, and having everything lining up right now is great. Our next step is going to be set up these little boxes to the grade level so they'll protect the concrete from flowing into our pipes that we just set up. Justin already setting up the grate, and we're gonna drive the wooden stakes that gonna suspend it up in the air, and we're gonna set them level according to our grade. What we need now is to make a hole underneath our doorway, or pretty much anywhere over there, and that's gonna supply our heating lines into this slab. We'll have to six lines going out, and then 4 more lines for our hot and cold, 2 hots and 2 colds for the sinks. So we'll need a sizable hole here to accommodate that, and we're debating what's the best way to do it, whether bring the big core drill and cut it if we can fit it in here, or just maybe remove the door and chisel out the piece of block. That shouldn't be too hard either. Justin and I agreed that the easiest way would be just using a jackhammer and start essentially destroying this block and chip it away, and we would have a hole this size, and that should be enough for the 10 pipes to go through. And if it's not enough, we could always get into this block and chip that away. Here we have a drill bit. We'll maybe make a few holes to weaken the structure so we have a nice crack when we go ahead and start chiseling it.
24 hours later.
Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful, cool, fresh morning in Iowa, and Justin and I are ready to backfill this puppy because our pad is nice and dry. I would say it's moist, and we can not do anything but proceed forward, so we could finally spray foam this, put some heating tubes in, put some rebar, and get it poured.
Just a few days ago, all this was in the water, and now look at this. It's hard as a rock. So we're gonna backfill all this. We're gonna temp it well, and then we have a few more things that we need to do before the spray foam guys are gonna come. And since this thing was super wet after it got dug out, now it's very compact, and then this little thingy cannot dig it in.
So I'm gonna grab the excavator and do it with that because Cooper and Zach took the big skid loader from us. So that's what we're left to work with. And remember, I was telling you, Justin is always on his phone. We're just like 30 minutes into a work day, and check this out.
What are you doing?
Texting. I'm on my phone.
By the way, earlier today I called the spray foam insulation guys, and they said they can come on Wednesday, which is today Monday, so we have tomorrow to get everything prepped. But to be honest, before I called them, Justin and I talked that we could have had everything prepared for them for Tuesday, but they said they are super busy and they could squeeze us into Wednesday, which is still good. That would give us Friday, the pour day. And it seems like we're gonna have a good weather the entire week, and Friday will work just fine. What are we gonna do now?
You're gonna dig the top off of that so we don't have to do so much hand digging.
Yeah, it appears that it is getting wetter and wetter towards the corner, so we just have to take all of that out, and we're gonna do the same thing, dig it out, put the rock in. The good thing that we're not gonna really waste it, because once it dries out over there and drains, we can use that material to backfill again.
Justin and I are definitely getting our exercise in for today. After we backfilled everything, it did look a little humpy, but then after we looked down and saw how big of a crown we created and then checked it with a laser, we were like 2 inches high. So now we're scraping everything, which is good because we're making everything flatter too and spreading it into low spots. But on the hindsight, we're definitely getting some workout. Oh, you missed that one.
Yeah, thank you.
12 hours later.
Good morning, everyone. It is another day and we're ready to finish our styrofoam strips today because spray foam guy is coming in anytime to lay the foam down, finally.
Earlier today I already cut these strips of foam
To finish off just this section of the wall over here. And as you can see, these are already been used from a different job, but why waste money if we can source it out and all we care about is the flat line over here. All this is gonna face the bottom and we saved some money by repurposing these. Here's the end result because I unfortunately forgot to turn on the camera. So we did it all without you guys. I think everything is done and ready for the spray foam guys to just come in and do their thing. I was a little bit stressed out in the morning knowing all these things need to be buttoned up before they come, but the guys are running a little late and I have extra help. Ricardo and Ryan, another new guy, came in and helped with everything. So now we're just kind of waiting. We're gonna clean up the area. I'm gonna wet it again because when they shoot that foam, it's a lot of air coming out of their gun and I just don't want to make it dusty for them. So I'm gonna spray it with water again so it's nice and damp for them and it's not blowing dust everywhere where they are spraying. Fly around with them. So all I want is all the loose dust gets stuck together and it will mostly dry out before the guys will spray it. So they're not blasting all this dust all over because that's what they use, the compressed air to deliver their product. And with all this being wet now and then dry, it's just gonna bond all the loose dusty particles all together.
Our spray foam guys are setting up and it will be no time before they get to spray.
I just need your love.
The guys are doing really great job. They are coming back to any of the lower spots and filling them in, making sure it's at least 2 inches, which I feel a lot of places is even higher than 2 inches, which is great. And the reason for that they are not as accurate as they are usually is because they're using a new product and it's reacting a little bit different than they used to, so it's taking them a little longer to apply it here. And also they have to
do the priming thing so it's not shriveling up so bad. But the end result is super nice, adhered, continuous foam slab, and it feels really good. Look at this uniform finish. Ricardo and Ryan lining up some rebar, which is gonna have to wait until we have our pipe laid in. And unfortunately, we cannot lay the pipe exactly 100% certain where it needs to go because there are a few things that are still up in the air. And those few things are the bearing points on our pad that just got sprayed foamed. Our original plans are calling for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bearing points within the slab, and we are trying to make those things to change so we don't have just random posts within the open area. And we still don't have the answer from the engineers and designers if we can move them or how far we can move them, because if we need the bearing point, that means we have to cut the foam out and dig it down and put more rebar and a thicker concrete within that area, and we still don't know if we need to do that or not. Well, I called Justin, he called the supplier, he called the designers and engineers, and engineers said that neither tomorrow or possibly even day after tomorrow they're not going to be tell us exactly where the load bearing points are going to be, because they are reverse engineering everything due to the changes that Cole made. So that puts us to the still point, I guess, standstill, because we cannot really run the heated lines not knowing where the pads need to be. So we're doing all possible prep work for everything else down the road, but we cannot go any further without knowing the pads. While scratching my head, Justin is arriving with the most up-to-date plans, and maybe those will bring some clarity and ability to do something to move forward. See what you missed out on today?
You were kicking rocks while they were spraying that, or what?
Yeah, I was making sure they're doing it right. Well, I got updated plans, and after visiting with him and going through things, we're gonna keep pushing for pouring on Friday. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the final updated version that went to the engineering trust company that's gonna engineer everything to accommodate this kind of plan. And I found 1, 2, 3 places that didn't change, so these we can move on and put them in onto our slab and kind of take a gamble and just think that they'll also make this work, because before they had the load point somewhere here or there, I don't remember exactly, and now we want it to be over here. I believe in them and I'm sure they can do that, so we're gonna treat it as this is the way it's gonna be. So next step is going to be create these deeper pockets in our foam, cut out probably 3 by 3, maybe foot deep concrete with 2 mats of rebar. That should be plenty for that kind of load. And then do the rest. Our lines, rebar, and line everything up, the concrete, the pumper truck, and everything for the concrete pour. After all, thank God today was a productive day. Unfortunately, we didn't get done what I was hoping we can get done, but it unfortunately wasn't in my power to change, but thankfully people on the other end plugged in. Thank you, people on the other end, that we got a new set of plans that we can go off of and we can move forward now. So we're gonna dig up those pads and then lay the heated floor line
after that and throw rebar. So concrete next. That's a big leap, and I'm gonna have to revisit with everyone to make sure everyone is gonna be available to help, because we're gonna have to have plenty of help for this pour being so big under the sun, because concrete gonna set up a lot faster with that sun. I guess from now, good day today, and we're gonna move on for concrete preparation from here. See you in the next one.